All right, how's everyone doing?
Woo!
All right, so I don't know if you noticed, but I'm a little overweight. So much like some of the former comedians, I'm trying to lose a little bit of weight, right? And finally had a major breakthrough the other day. I don't know if you knew, but a couple months ago there was a report that finally just came out that was like, in America, overweight is the new average, right? So now I feel pretty good about myself because I did absolutely nothing. And all of a sudden I went from obese all the way down to average, which is pretty fucking fantastic. It's funny when you're big, you kind of forget about it after a while until life decides they're going to throw it back in your face. I was reminded, like this summer, I moved into a new place, a new apartment, and I was really excited because in this new apartment there was a bathtub. I haven't had a bathtub probably since I was like a little child, right? When my mom would draw the bath for my brother and I. So this is a completely new experience for me. So for me, like, the first thing I wanted to do was to actually take a bath. And, you know, for a man, sometimes, you know, like, that's not the most manly thing to do, but let's be honest, I live alone, and I thought I'd give it a shot. And so I'm trying to figure out how to do it, right? Because my mom did it for me when I was a child. So for me, I'm like, I close the drain, I'm like, body wash all over the bottom of the bathtub, and I'm like, trying to mix it around with the water. I'm getting everything set up, I'm getting the music up out there, I've got papers to grade because I'm a teacher, and like I've got magazines and stuff like that on the floor. Like I'm ready to have myself a pretty good time. This thing is really hard to guess me. I'm a pretty smart guy, but trying to figure out how much water is the right amount of water to put in the bathroom. You see the body that's here in front of you, right? I'm trying to figure logistically how this is all going to work with this body in a bathtub and how much water would I need to put in there for it to be an appropriate amount. So anyway, I filled about 2/3 of the way. So now I'm jumping into my bathtub. I'm standing up in it. I don't have like one of those cool little like floor rubbery things that helps you like stick to it and stuff like that. And I'm presented with this dilemma. I'm standing there and I have no idea how to get in the tub. No idea whatsoever. All I have is like this little flimsy like soap tray on one side, and I have 2 shower doors on the other side, and like I'm not very athletic, you know, flexible, agile. I can't just like sit down in it. Like it's a giant process for me, and like it's super uncomfortable. So I'm trying to figure out like how the hell am I gonna get into this bathtub? I'm super excited to have this water drawn out. I'm like ready to get into this thing. So finally I figured it out. Like I rest my back against the wall and I put my feet in front of me, and if I just like kind of wiggle my way up, it starts going down into the tub. So I thought this was a brilliant idea. But the problem with this idea is you reach a point of no return. There's a point where you're like, you're not able to turn back, you can't stand back up, I'm fully committed to going down into this tub. And that was great for a while until my ass finally hit the water. And the water's now at the brim.
Oh, shit.
I'm like, shit, like I have no idea what to do right now. I can't turn back though. I'm fully committed and invested in this endeavor. So like, unfortunately, body goes the rest of the way into the tub. Water goes all over my bathroom, on my papers, on my phone, just floods my bathroom floor, into my bedroom. It's disgusting, and the water is everywhere. And that's, you know, that was super awkward to be on the other side of it too, like to tell my students that I'm like, well, I know that, you know, sometimes you have excuses, but I'm gonna need you to resend those. Like, I had no idea what to say to them. And it's funny. So the other, you know, way that I always remember how big I am is when I fly. And so when you're flying, it's always kind of fun because you're sitting on the plane, and then all of a sudden kicks in this like new reality show about who's coming next on board and whether they seem like they're a suitable seat companion. So in your mind, you've already got it made up. You have an idea of like what you think that right person is and like what your ideal person is that's going to sit next to you. And so when everybody walks on the board, you judge them. You're like, oh, well, she's old, she's really cute, but she's probably going to talk the entire time. Like, maybe we'll pass on that one. Or you see somebody that's like, just clearly just woke up and nearly bathed themselves and you really want to deal with that stench and stuff like that. And then of course there's a hot girl, right? But for me, I don't want that to happen, right? I don't want a hot girl sitting next to me because let's be honest, this seat, when it's in the seat, I'm bulging over into the next seat, right? I've got this like sweaty flesh on flesh action with whoever's sitting next to me. It's pretty that way. It's like a human slip and slide all of a sudden. You know, it's really disgusting. I'd rather take my chances with her getting off the plane drunk after having a little too many tequila shots to try to convince myself that I can get with her. But then it gets flipped on its head. Any of you guys ever fly Southwest Airlines?
Yeah.
So it gets flipped on its head completely because now you're choosing where you're sitting, right? So you're walking onto the plane, and all of a sudden you have your pick of the litter. Almost like it's like an animal shelter, almost animal shelter. Like, you know, do something to it and don't pick them. So you see, you're like one, you're like, oh, it's cute, it's like sickly, like I don't know if that's really where I might go with that. probably been overfed by its previous owner, and you're just like, probably gonna stay away from that one. And so for me, when I'm on the plane, I'm a full-time job. I'm committed to making sure that you don't want to sit next to me. I like that seat next to me. I don't want to be touching you the entire time. I'm fully committed to trying to make this seem like it's a natural disaster you even want to sit next to me. When I fly Southwest Airlines, that's the only time I purposely try to look fat. Right? So you're like in the seat, and you're like bulging out, your legs are wide, you throw up the seat rest, and you're like partially in the other side. You know, like, I'm like sniffing and coughing. Oh, like, not only is he fat, but he's also sick. And what always gets me though is when people finally do sit next to me when there are obviously seats open, and I just get so frustrated. I'm like, what the hell could I have done better? I was fully committed to this. I thought I was a shoo-in for not having somebody sitting next to me. I'm really determined. I worked hard at this, and all of a sudden I have somebody sitting next to me. But the good part though is, it's not all bad being a big guy. Like for example, for me, I get to fondle these, solid C-cup man-boobs when my ex-girlfriend had like these B-cups. And so, for me, it's fucking delightful. But then,